In our world, it's easy to forget the rich history of lesser-known regions, and long before this particular nation founded the European Union or invented the saxophone, tens of thousands ships set sail for its vibrant and rich harbors, witnessing its prosperity and economic stronghold. Merchants from various nations gathered in this dense area, bringing with them goods from all the corners of the world. How this came into be I will explain you right now. But before we begin, let's get behind the origin of the word Belgium. Belgium gets its name from the Celtic tribe of Belgaea, who lived in the area. When the Romans under Caesar first invaded, they met with fierce resistance from the Belgaea. This angered the Romans so much that they committed one of the first recorded genocides in history. Tribes were slaughtered and fields got burned. Eventually, most Belgian tribes disappeared from history after this genocidal event. Subject to Roman rule, they were now forced to adapt the customs of the Romans. After the fall of the Roman Empire, many Germanic tribes were crossing the border. The Franks settled in the area and mixed with the indigenous population. Now, if a day comes you think Belgium is a German state in denial, then remind yourself that the once mighty Frankish Empire that ruled over Germany began in present-day Belgium, especially under Charlemagne's reign, who turned the Franks the biggest empire in Europe. The Frankish Empire, however, would not last for eternity. After the death of its last ruler, the empire was left to his three sons, who constantly engaged in fights with each other for control. This resulted in the Treaty of Verdun, which broke the empire apart into what will later become France and Germany. Now, focusing on the lower countries, much of the duchies and counties like Flanders, Brabant, Holland and Luxembourg were established at this time. These duchies and counties acted almost independent from the HRE and France, and had a great bond of trade with each other. They also were very populous and developed very fast through time. So much so that during medieval times, Flanders and Brabant were considered to be one of the most prosperous and urban regions in Europe at the time, with Bruges being a main commercial hub and the second biggest city in Europe in the 15th century. The city has often been credited to be the birthplace of capitalism, having built the first stock exchange in the world and hosting merchants from all around Europe to buy the Flemish cloth. This rise of commercial activity gave way to an artistic movement called the Early Netherlandish Renaissance, which were the first ones to revive the European art landscape with innovative styles and techniques. Names of great masters include Van Eyck, Geertgen and Bosch. In the 15th century, the many states of the rich lower countries were together under personal union with Burgundy. The Burgundians did these acquisitions by marriages and conquests, uniting an area stretching from eastern France to the lower countries.